You mentioned there briefly that the Bury were Category 3 at the time. Manchester City were obviously Category 1. For anybody who isn't aware of the different category systems in English football, that is, what does being Category 1 mean? What does being Category 2, Category 3? Obviously, Category 1 being the highest. You know, are there benefits? Are there drawbacks? Are there increased costs that come with operating a higher level academy?
Yeah, so the category levels are in reference to the Elite Player Performance Plan, which I imagine some of your listeners will be aware of to some extent because it's been fairly controversial within youth football in this country. What that is the set of rules and protocols that govern um, uh, youth football within the top four leagues in England, so the Premier League and the three Football League divisions. They abide by these set of rules, and each academy is graded category 1 to 4 based on their offering, based on their facilities, their staffing levels, and what they're able to provide for their young players. With 1 being the top and 4 being the lowest. Yeah, it does come with associated costs. It is more expensive to run a Category 1 academy than it is to run a Category 2, 3, or 4. At the point at which the EPPP guidelines were published in 2012, I think the estimate was between 2.5 and 4.9 million a year for to be the expected running cost of a Category 1 academy. That's almost certainly risen since then, and I think some academies cost upwards of 10 and 20 million a year to run, based on how much they're pumping into their recruitment and their facilities, and how much they're paying to get the best coaches and things like that for their players. So the guys like Man City are going to be spending a lot more than even other Category 1 clubs, like say a Fulham, for example. So yeah, the benefits that come with that, with Category 1, you are not restricted to the area within which you can recruit players from the age of 14 upwards. There is a 90-minute catchment rule, which means that a club can only recruit players who live within a 90-minute drive of their training facility up until the age of 16. If you're Category 1, that rule is stripped away. You can recruit nationally from 14. And if you're Category 2, I think you can recruit nationally a little bit sooner as well. So yeah, you have the advantage then if you're a City or a Man United or a Middlesbrough, I think, are a Category 1 as well, Newcastle. So yeah, you can be really anywhere in the country you can recruit. You can look to scout down in London if you wanted to. You can compete for the best players nationally at an earlier age. So that's one of the benefits of being able to get talent through the door. It's also it means inherently that your facilities are going to be better than those of a Category 2 or 3 club, by and large. So it means that you're able to attract players through your offering there as well. So it's all about being able to get the best talent through the door, and then it's all about what you're able to do with them based on your offering. So that's the advantage to it. But a lot of clubs are kind of starting to see or starting to believe that the cost of operating a top Category 1 academy is not necessarily worth it, especially if you're still going to end up with players being poached before they get to the first team level, before they reach their maximum sell-on value. So clubs like Brentford have stepped away from EPPP entirely and now operate a B team model where they're only recruiting players in much smaller numbers. So they've shut down their academy and they run a B team, for which they recruit players in the sort of 16, 17, 18 age bracket who might have been elsewhere, who might have slipped through the net, but that their smaller group is constructive players they believe each has genuine first team potential, whereas a big conventional Category 1 academy might have 200 players across all the age groups, fully aware that only a small fraction of those even have the potential to make it to first team level. A lot are what might kind of rather distastefully be referred to as bodies, who are just kind of there to help the better prospects have training partners essentially, and can be at a club from the age of 6 right up until 18 without ever really having had a realistic shot of making it in the first team, and they'll just kind of fall away. So yeah, there are a lot of pros and cons to Category 1 and to the academy system in general, which is something that's being really debated because more and more clubs are stepping away from it. So it's a really interesting subject to kind of to monitor over the next few years to see what route a lot of clubs decide to go down with it, and whether it will enforce any kind of changes to the way that the system is set up.